low 50s expected with light winds. Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny in the low 70s, and low to mid 70s Thursday with a blend of sun and clouds. Showers and thunderstorms are possible Friday, near 70, rather breezy, partly sunny skies. Jonesboro's community radio station, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett.
Hey everybody, welcome to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. It is Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I am the co-host, Kurbe Hart, along with Mr. Cato Wonder. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this morning we were supposed to have Reverend Kurbe Newsome and Reverend Teddy Taylor join us via phone. I think there were some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had the phone off the hook. So we just waited for them to call in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. This is a two-part show today. Today we're going to have Reverend Kurbe Newsome and Reverend Ted T. Taylor Sr. of the KLEK County chapter of the NAACP talking about all of the latest happenings in the organization. And then for part two, we're going to have Mr. Tierre Hamilton of the Jonesboro Alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated talking about the KLEK mentoring program. And I'm going to text Reverend Newsome telling him he is free to call in now.
And so, looking at the Cato Wonder, since you are part of the Kurbe County NAACP chapter, can you please give us some insight from your point of view? How diverse is the group here?
Well, the group is very diverse. It comes from a variety of backgrounds, races, ethnicities, ages are represented. It is definitely a cross-section of the community. I think one of the things that Reverend Newsome and Reverend Taylor will talk about this morning, we're getting ready to have an open meeting which people will get to learn more about the KLEK County chapter of the NAACP that is tentatively scheduled for March 20th. But I will let them provide more information about that when we get them online. I just reached out to Reverend Newsome, so hopefully he will call in just a second and we can go ahead and get started. But again, to answer your question, we definitely have a lot of diversity going on, and that's very important because the issues that we're facing in the city as well as the state and in the country as well don't just affect colored people as in the name of the NAACP. It affects everyone. Everyone's affected. No one is immune. No one escapes, the things that are going on. So anyone who has an interest or a stake or who cares about what's going on is definitely invited to take part and to participate and to be a voice for what's going on in the community. You will have to excuse me. My voice is not the best, but it's all good. I will talk, but probably the less I talk, the better. I'm going to let you go on. I may have to actually get on this phone system and call Reverend Newsome myself.
And one thing I did want to highlight, as Lagenzi pointed out, that the NAACP tries to tackle a variety of issues that come up in our society, helping people work through some social injustices they may have endured. Also, we know that there's a lot of things going on within the nation, and this is not a political show, so we're not going to get too deep into that. But if someone is wronged, then they do have a support system with the NAACP. There is a Facebook page if you would like to learn more about the KLEK County chapter. It is called NAACP of KLEK County. It gives you a listing of their latest posts, things that they have been doing within the community. Apologize, we're just trying to reach our guest this morning.
The number you have dialed.
And then there's a link to their website. It is www.naacp.org. There you can learn a lot more information about the organization as a whole.
Keep going.
The purpose for its startup, and for those of you who may not know, the NAACP was not founded just by colored people.
Have you been trying to call in?
There were a variety of racial groups that took part in starting this organization. A listing of their programs and departments: civic engagement, environmental and climate justice, federal advocacy, health, economic opportunity, and criminal justice. I think now good morning. We now have our guest on the air. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Reverend Newsome?
Reverend Newsome, are you there?
No, I think you hung up on him.
Hit drop.
Hello?
Hopefully he'll call back.
Okay, we apologize.
Well, welcome to live radio, everyone. Hit call. All right, I think we're back. Reverend Newsome?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't move the box, Mike.
I got this ringing.
Okay. Well, we probably I'll try to work on the ringing, but let's go ahead and get into the interview.
Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Hello. I think we lost him again. All right. So again, you're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We apologize again for the technical difficulties this morning. We're trying to get Reverend Newsome on the line.
All right, Reverend Newsome, you there?
I am here.
All righty. All right, Kurbe, go ahead and ask him the question.
All right. Good morning. So I know we talked a little bit about, I have been trying to give people an overview of what the NAACP is all about. And so what I would like for you to highlight, please, some of the progress that the KLEK County chapter has made. We talked earlier about the diversity of the chapter that is made up of a variety of people from all walks of life, socioeconomic, and racial backgrounds. Can you please give us some updates on about how many members do you have at this moment, active members?
Well, right now, the KLEK County NAACP has exactly around about 69 active members. It is doing very well. We are still in the infancy of organizing and getting everything together. But the KLEK County NAACP is going real well. We've got some members who have actually dedicated themselves to making sure that we're progressing. And we have a plan of action that's going to take us through the rest of the year. So it's looking real good. It's looking real good. We are asking for more participation from our active members, and we are still seeking new members. And so everything is going wonderful with us right now with the KLEK County NAACP.
Okay. Now, we've talked about before the breakdown of the different departments, the different groups that you will have within the KLEK County chapter. How are those coming along? Have you gotten enough people to sign up for under the various I keep saying departments. I'm sorry. Help me out here.
Well, the committees basically is what you're talking about. We've had some issues with some things that have been dealing with it, some discrimination issues within the county that we won't get into specifics in. But our legal redress committee has been addressing some issues that have happened around in KLEK County, some issues dealing with discrimination, and also the other committee that has been doing some work is the education committee. They've been doing some background work or some work in the background in regards to education, and as we move forward, you'll see some future endeavors that will start becoming visible within the next 3 to 4 months. One thing I would like to reiterate and also put out there is when you're dealing with things with the NAACP, I know there's probably some despondents out there, people out there going like, are you visible? But when you're dealing with the NAACP or any type of civic organization or any type of organization that are dealing with civil rights or anything like that, a lot of the things that go on are behind the scenes. They are very slow, they are very deliberate, but there is work going on. So with the Legal Redress Committee, with the Education Committee, and also with the Civil Engagement Committee, community, and we're doing some things with fundraiser. And again, we're also partnering with some other organizations here in the future, and got some background work going on with those right now. So things are moving forward, and again, like I said, we are asking for more help, and as we continue to move forward and as things grow, you'll start seeing some things that will be visible with the KLEK County NAACP.
Alrighty, you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Reverend Kurbe L. Newsome. He is your role as the president?
Yes, it is.
Okay, he is the president of the KLEK County NAACP chapter here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And if you would like to join, we will make sure to get the information to you concerning membership. You can also visit their Facebook page for more information. So let's get into another topic. And again, like we talked about before, I don't want to make this too political, but we know that there's a lot of things going on around the nation. What role does the NAACP help? What roles do they play to help people understand what is going on? I know you did talk about earlier that there was some discrimination issues going on.
Well, one of the things that we need to make sure that what the NAACP stands for, our mission is to ensure political, educational, social, economic equality of rights of all persons. And our main thing is to eliminate race-based discrimination.
Okay.
And one thing we need to make sure that when we're dealing with race-based discrimination, that includes all races, because discrimination can occur in all races. Of course, we know what we're dealing with the type of political climate, what the political climate is, and especially the United States since November 9th, and especially since the inauguration of the President of the United States, the elected President of the United States here around in January 20. We know what we're dealing with some of the executive orders that have come down. And our main purpose in this is to make sure that the right of every individual has been represented. We want to make sure that the people understand what their rights are, what their privileges are, what the Constitution stands for. And so as we move forward, one of the things we want to make sure is that, number one, we want to make sure peace is in place, not only as a national organization, not only as a state organization, but when it comes down to our local organizations, we want to have peace. We want to have unity. We want to have understanding of each other's culture, each other's background. And so that's when all the committees that are being formed and all the partnerships that we're trying to put together, we make sure that everybody understands. And I'm going to have to use an old R&B song. We're all in this thing together. And we need to make sure that we understand each other, that we love each other. But then also, at the same time, as you understand and love each other, we need to make sure that everything is done in a perspective of righteousness.
Okay, thank you. And so, what are some ways that you would like to encourage people to get more involved, become more educated on what's going on, so they would know if they feel they are discriminated against, they'll have something to come to you with. But what are some ways that you can advise people to get educated?
Well, one of the things as our strategic plan continues to evolve, one of the things we want to make sure as we're putting our committees together, as we're doing things, we want to make sure that the residents, especially of KLEK County, are, number one, educated in the Constitution. Okay. Educated in their Bill of Rights, educated in what their rights are in their workplace, at their schools, and make sure that they understand things that are being done on Capitol Hill. Let's start there. Things that are being done in the town hall, in City Hall, and the state capitol, and also on Capitol Hill. And as we move forward, especially with the inception of what we have on social media and the technology we have, there's a lot of things that we're going to be putting forth that is not going to require brick and mortar. A lot of the education can be done via satellite, via going on websites and looking at things, but also having town hall meetings, having the community conversations, having small groups get together and we talk about the things coming up. We want to emphasize the fact that within the next 18 months or the next 18 to 20 months that we are getting ready, for the next 12 months here pretty soon, we're going to have a primary coming up, the 2018 primary.
Okay.
And one of the things that we need to understand is the 2018 primary sets the tone for the 2020 election. So these things we're moving forward to make sure that everything is put in place.
Okay. I recently watched a video. It was with some activists. They're now older, of course, that were very active back in the 60s and 70s. And they talked about, like you mentioned before, a lot of the behind the scenes things that go on. People don't realize what it takes to actually even say put on a protest. Protesting is not always the way. Sometimes it is necessary, but there are so many things that happen behind the scenes. Like you mentioned, there's door knocking, phone calling. There's people making flyers, or there are people in meetings organizing things. So kind of for those people that feel like, okay, let's get out there, protest, make our voice heard, what are some advice you can give them on some better ways to get started getting their voice heard?
Well, first of all, one of the things that I encourage or I implore or I recommend is you just don't get out and protest just to be protesting or marching just to be marching, because there's a difference between a moment and a movement. And right now we've got a lot of moments going on, but we don't have a movement. And when you get ready to protest, or in this case, and sometimes protest doesn't necessarily mean walking down the street and doing things or saying things or having placards out. Sometimes protest can be done by picking up your phone and calling your local congressman or your local senator or the senator that is representing you not only on Capitol Hill, but also on the state capitol, and calling your city councilman and talking about things. Those are protests, because they do not get elected unless you vote. And let me make sure you understand, voting is a protest. And so as we move forward and as we recommend in regards to protesting, make sure you're doing it for a movement and not for a moment. And so these are the things that I recommend. That's something that I recommend as you do it, because voices can be heard in multiple ways. And sometimes it's the silence of something that is the loudest that speaks.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Reverend Kurbe L. Newsome from the NAACP chapter, or the Cricket County NAACP chapter, and where he serves as the president. Now, to my knowledge, you have all the executive positions filled at this time.
That is correct. We have all our executive positions filled. But we are also in the process of still, like I said, strategically planning. It's a work in progress. We're still looking for more committee members on our committees. We're still in the process of selecting chairs for some of our committees. And like I said, as the organization, as the local chapter, as it moves forward, things will start being put in place. And one of the things, I have to reiterate it again. Organizations that are doing good things, especially when they're in their infancy, takes time. Do not get discouraged. If you have some recommendations, or if you have some ideals, some suggestions, even if you have some concerns, it's just like anything else. don't go out and say that they're not doing anything and you've only attended maybe one meeting or two meetings. We're still growing. We're asking for your input, but we would love to have your input and your concerns to come to us. We have an open door policy. We will most definitely respond, and we look forward to your concerns, to your suggestions, and as we grow, and there are many people with many talents and gifts and expertise, and if you want to be a part of something that is great, and make sure that you come see us, that you talk to us, that you reach out to us. And with that said, we can become a better group. We can become a more group of we can have a lot of input that what goes on in KLEK County.
All right, thank you, Reverend Newsome, for that. We got about 10 seconds. We want to thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll have you back next month to let us know what's going on with the KLEK County chapter of the NAACP. Stay tuned. This is Community Conversations on KLEK.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Why is home the hardest place to lead? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute.
National community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and this is part 2. Our special guest right now is Mr. Tierre Hamilton, and he is a member of the alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. That's located here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And thank you so much, Mr. Tierre, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so and you know the drill. Don't speak too soft. Get close to the mic. All right, so today, Mr. Tierre is going to be talking about something that's upcoming with the Kappa chapter, the fraternity. They are starting their Kappa League. They are trying to grab all these young men, bring them in, teach them how to be respectable young men and all that good stuff. But I'm going to let Ms. Tierre go into more details concerning that.
Well, first off, good morning. And I thank you guys for allowing us to be here today. We're going to start our Kappa League. And what Kappa League is basically one of our national initiatives for guy right. What we're doing there is we're wanting to help turn a boy into a man. So Kappa League, it was founded February 12th, 1969 by the Los Angeles Alumni Chapter. It was adopted by the fraternity as an actual guy right program in 1970. So what we're doing is we're focusing on young men ages grades 7 through 12. And we're having our first interest meeting on February 25th at 10 a.m. at the Delta Center on ASU's campus.
All right, so grades 7 through 12. Now I know that there are quite a few requirements. Unfortunately, not every single boy, young man, I keep saying boy, young man that is interested can join. So what are some of the requirements?
Well, just for the meeting, we're asking that you send an email to reserve seating. There are limited seats available. Okay. We're asking that you bring a one-page essay on why you want to become a Kappa League. Okay. The attire is white shirt, khaki pants. Okay. And we just ask that you like us on Facebook.
Now, what are some things that you're looking for in the essays that they email to you? Their style of writing, or just what is the question that they have to answer?
Well, we're not necessarily looking at the style of writing, as that's something, some of the initiatives that we work on as far as academics, but we just want to know, what is your purpose? What is your why? Okay. With anything that you do in the world, you have to have a why behind it. because when times get tough, you have to be able to look back at that why and say, okay, well, this is why I started. This is why I'm not going to quit. This is why I'm going to prevail.
Alrighty. You tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Mr. Tierre Hamilton of the alumni chapter Kappa Alpha Psi, the alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and we're discussing the Kappa League that is coming up. Now, the interest meeting is on February the 25th at 10 a.m. at the Delta Center. Was it on campus?
Yes, on ASU's campus.
On ASU's campus. Mm-hmm. Now, there is some information that they require beforehand. Now, there's an email. There is a flyer circulating on Facebook. You can go to the Jonesboro-AR Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. And you can find the flyer with the information. They want you to send an email to reserve your seating, and then bring a one-page essay on why you want to become part of the Kappa League. And like Mr. Tierre said, you have to have a why on why you want to do something. Now, what are some other goals or other objectives or some other things that you would like to teach these young men to do during their time in the Kappa League?
Sure. Basically, with the Kappa League, what we do, we have some initiatives. Well, first, let me say this. The primary focus of Kappa League revolves around 5 phases.
Okay.
That first phase is going to be self-identity. We're going to talk about it's about discipline, assurance, awareness, and also appearance. Because, and I want to go back to that because that is kind of a reflection of us as members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Some people actually look at it as their junior Kappas, for the most part. That second phase is going to be training. We're dealing with academics, career choice, preparation, and organization.
Okay.
The third thing is going to be competition. We're going to deal with politics, career advancement, and sports. Then we deal with social, which is going to be religion, the arts, entertainment, conversation and communication, and just proper etiquette.
Okay.
Then we're going to deal with that fifth phase is going to be health education. We're going to deal with physical fitness, sex education, drug education, and health and safety. Now, those are just the phases that we do. Some of the initiatives that we plan to do with these young men, we're going to have, you know how athletes are kind of put on this pedestal and they have college signing days and things of that nature. Well, we're going to do something similar to that. We're going to have a college signing day on the academic level. We're going to do it. We're going to live stream it, through Facebook, through Instagram. We're going to Snapchat it, all of those things. And it's the same as the athletes. We're going to allow the students to be able to publicly declare where they intend to earn their degree. And then whether that be college, whether that be they're going to go off to the military, or whatever the case may be. We want them to have that same experience. We want to celebrate those academics as well as those athletics. We're also going to have a Student of the Year initiative, and that's just where we're going to pick a student from each grade level. And again, those grades that we focus on are 7 through 12. So from those grades, we're going to talk about, it's going to be based off of their grades and their service in the community. And that's how we're going to choose their Student of the Year. Then we have a NSBE STEM partnership with the Kappa League on a national level. So what that means is that allows the students to be able to compete in the NSBE junior STEM competitions and workshops. And I know we talked last time we were here on January 5th. We talked a little bit about STEM and some of the things of that nature. So we told you we have some things coming. So here we also have what we call PSI, which is a program of school involvement. And it's a campaign during the first of the school year just to showcase fathers across social media and the importance of them being in the children's lives. You've seen certain things such as, take your daughter to school day, or fathers, dropping children off for school and things of that nature. So those are that's kind of an initiative that we do as well. 2 more initiatives that we have. We have FAFSA awareness, and that's where we educate them on FAFSA, on the process of it, and also on the importance of those student loans in the future and after school, you know. So I don't know about you guys with student loans, but if I meet a person named Sally, I don't want to talk to you. So
or Mohila.
Exactly. So the last thing that we do is kind of our most important thing in my eyes. I'm a steward of academics. I preach academics in my home all the time. It's Naviance. It's a program where we offer a different skill set training, such as SAT training, ACT training, PSAT practice tests, things of that nature. And we do self-guided reading and other tutor programs. We also do weekly updates on college admissions and scholarship deadlines. So I mean, it's important. You know, I'll say this: even if you're not a member of Kappa League, it's important to have those dates and those deadlines. So I would encourage everyone to like the pages, to follow the pages, just to, if nothing else, just to get those deadlines, because a lot of children don't know anything about that. You don't know when I need to do this, when I need to do that. So if we can put that information out there and have it updated on a weekly basis, then I think it not only helps Kappa League, but it also helps the community in general.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Mr. Tierre Hamilton from the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Alpha Kappa Psi Incorporated. And we're talking about the upcoming Kappa League, which the interest meeting is on 2/25, which is this Saturday at 10 a.m. And he has given us a list of phases and initiatives that they plan to cover. And I am really excited to see how all of this is going to progress, because I'm all about education, for one. I am the mother of a son who didn't do so well in school and wish that there were more programs or more things around for him to get involved in, for someone just to grab him by the hand and say, okay, you can be successful, you can achieve whatever you want, you can rise above whatever level you feel you're at, or whatever society says, wherever society says you are. I want to address, I am studying sociology of gender, and there's a lot of talk about the boys and girls in the classroom, and boys tend to get pushed to the side, left behind, and whatnot. Boys are sometimes made to feel like learning isn't cool, or if you're smart, you're a nerd, or you're this, or and I'm not going to use some of the other words that were in the book, but it's like if a boy is into art or learn musical instruments, anything other than sports, anything that's not considered quote unquote masculine, or really just, things that society says makes a man, how are you going to help encourage these young men? Okay, it's okay to love to draw. It's okay if you write poetry. It's okay. You can still do those things and still be considered a man. How are you going to help encourage those young men to follow their aspirations?
Well, I think the key word that you use there is encourage.
Okay.
You have to continuously encourage a young man. You have to continuously let him know that there are more ways. And don't get me wrong, with Kappa League, it's not just about the academic side. So we want to let them know that, hey, it's going to be more than just academics. We're also allowing you to have fun. We are an organization. You are junior Kappas. So most things that we would do on an alumni, or on an undergrad level, and even on some alumni levels, we would be doing those things with them as well, such as them throwing parties, or them throwing balls for their age groups and their peers. So we're gonna just always promote positiveness, and make sure that they understand that, hey, there's nothing wrong with being smart. Hey, I'm a nerd. Always have been.
Okay.
But I've always been the coolest nerd ever.
Okay. And another thing you touched on about, when they come to the meeting, they have to wear a certain attire. I would love to see this generation of young men also gravitate towards It's okay to dress nice. It's okay to pull your pants up on your waist. It's okay to keep your hair cut neat. If you have dreads, fine, just keep them neat. I mean, it's okay to be you, but just keep it neat.
Yeah, I agree. Presentation is everything. If you know, especially when you meet someone for the first time, you know, you have to put on a good show for them. You know, make sure that they understand that this is you, this is who you are, you know, and present yourself in a positive manner to them. You know, even as I haven't shaved today, we're having this conversation, but.
Well, I can't tell. I'm a girl. I can't tell. I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. So I'm really looking forward, like I said, what has the response been like since you all first announced that this was coming? What has the response been like? Yeah,
I mean, the response has been, it's been crazy. It's better than I would have thought it would be. Okay. And I think it's because this is something that people have been kind of looking for. Okay. And I think over the years, just members of the fraternity in general in this area we've thought about it, we've looked into it, and we've kind of shied away from it a little bit, you know, for whatever reasons, just over the years, you know, since I've been in the fraternity since way long ago. Years ago. You know, we've kind of flirted with that idea. Okay. And now we've pretty much gotten to a point to where we said, okay, enough playing with the idea. Let's put it on paper. Let's do what we have to do. Let's go with it. You know, because right now we feel like that the young men of the next generation, you know, we need to help them out. Yes. And I wish there was something that, you know, we could do for the young ladies, but we're working on that too. So I mean, there's sororities. Yeah, I'm calling you out. and hopefully, you know, this will spark something for all of the D9 organizations, because from my understanding, everyone has a league of their own. Okay. I'm not sure what the correct, you know, names of their leagues are, but I know there are some different leagues. Sororities. My daughter is looking for a league. She's very interested. So,
and I know this is an old cliche, but I would love to see more unity in our community, and it starts with us. It starts with, you know, this. I would say the generation, what we call Generation X, I guess you say. Those of us that are over 30. Yes, it starts with us. We need to get it together, come together. It's not about who's doing better than me or who has more people in their group than me. It's about I'm still doing my part to make a difference. So until we get that mindset, you know, there's always going to be some division. So.
Yeah, well, and it should just be about what can we all do for our community.
That's all right.
At the end of the day, that's what we're here for.
All right. And I forgot to mention, I apologize, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and if anyone has any questions or comments for Mr. Tierre, please give us a call, 870-277-1080. I'm sorry I can't see who all is watching or liking the video. Okay, we do have a few questions here.
Sure.
How are you reaching the young men that don't have access to internet and channels promoting the league other than church?
Well, that's where the community comes in. Okay. I mean, we would love for any and everyone to share this information. Don't just leave it up to us to promote the idea. Okay. You know, the community, that's what we're doing this for, the community. We're not doing it for us. You know, it's for the community. And we ask that the community share the information as well. Don't just like the pictures. Don't just share the pictures on the internet. Talk to your neighbors. You know, talk to your friends, families, you know, nieces, nephews, whoever you know that may need this information, may want this information. You know, let's share that information with them.
Another thing I wanted to point out, young people, for what I've learned, they're not going to always tell you what they need or what they want. They do want us to be more involved in their lives. They do want someone to grab them and mentor them and show them I'm not going to say better, a different way of life, a possible way of life, you know, going to college or at least just graduating high school with a high enough GPA, higher than just average. they do want someone to reach out to them and grab them, but they're not going to always tell you because they're kids,
right? And
they have this pride thing, I guess she's saying. They have this barrier, this defense mechanism built up. So it takes us, the adults, to reach out to them, and you have to find a way to reach them, but you have to reach them at their point of need, not from your perspective. You have to engage with them to see what they need and then go from there. I'm sorry, these are just some things I'm learning in my classes. So anyways, you're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Mr. Tierre Hamilton from the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Oh, I'm going to get a whooping with one of them canes after this.
Exactly. But we are a non-hazing organization.
Yes. Okay. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please give us a call. We're going to get ready to take a quick break in a moment. Is there any other things we haven't touched on so far? We will give out the contact information at the latter part of the show before we end. We'll make sure you get that contact information, and we'll make sure that you find out how you can reach the Kappas here in Jonesboro, the alumni chapter. Now, is the undergrad chapter being active with this, or is this just...
Yes, they are. It's an initiative not only with Jonesboro alumni, but it's also with Theta Mu undergrad chapter, Arkansas State as well. So,
okay. So are they just as excited to have a group of young people to try to mold and mentor?
You know, they are. They are really excited about it. And I mean, I actually, spoke with the president, Justin Taylor, about it on last night. And, we just talked about the excitement for it. Just his motivation to just lead the next generation.
Okay. All right, so we're going to come right back after these announcements, so please do not go anywhere. You listen to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. The phone lines are open, 870-277-1080. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Your number one savings goal is to establish an emergency fund to be touched only in case of unemployment, needed car repairs, or anything else tied to your ability to earn income. Without this fund, which should equal at least 6 months of your living expenses, you'll likely resort to more desperate and costly measures to cope, including using your credit cards and even dipping into your retirement fund. But once you commit to building this fund, what steps should you take? First, automate the process as much as possible. Have at least 10% of your paycheck automatically transferred to your emergency fund every payday. Set a specific savings goal. You need to know how much 6 months of your living expenses is to the penny. Or you can go with half of your annual pre-tax income as a goal. Don't worry about earning interest. The point of the fund is not return on investment, it's having ready access to cash in case of emergency. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
To Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I had another question that popped in my head that I want to ask Mr. Tierre as we were having a discussion off air. Yes, you're going to be working with these young men, grades 7 through 12, and you did talk about under the initiatives how you would like to get more fathers involved and try to bridge that gap with the father involvement. So how will you try to go about engaging the family, the entire family, in the whole process? once the young men have been accepted and are joined in?
Well, hopefully from the jump, the parents are going to be there for the meeting on the 25th at 10 a.m. at the Delta Center and ASU's campus. At that point, it'll be a time for us to be able to not only meet the students or the prospective Kappa Leaguers, but also to meet those parents. And even if this is something that you're not really sure about, whether you want to do, I advise you to come out to the meeting. Just come out, meet us, look at it, see what we do, see what you can get out of it. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you can get out of it. As a student and as a parent, even if you don't know if your child is going to be interested, bring them anyway. As a parent, just come and fellowship with us. Just come meet us.
Alrighty. And now, this is something that people don't like to talk about much, but when it comes to cost, you haven't, even on the flyer, you don't mention any kind of cost involved for the individuals involved once they, once you get your group set. But will there be any cost involved?
Well, it's basically everything is done through fundraising. Fundraising, donations, things of that nature. We've got what we call a gear foundation. So that with that gear foundation, anyone can make donations, and that's going to help cover pretty much everything that we have there for them. But I mean, you're going to see different types of things that they're going to do to raise money in the community. But the gear, it stands for the Gaines Educational Achievement Reinforcement Foundation. Named after Dr. Gaines of the Circle.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. Now, one thing you talked about also, community service. And I think even though they will be doing fundraising, it still kind of ties into community service because they get to interact with different agencies and different individuals within the community, especially in Jonesboro. What are some other ways that you plan on getting them engaged in community service?
Well, let me say with that, we're teaching them how to build relationships. Teaching them how to connect with different people of different walks of life that they may not have previously done. But as far as helping them, we just want to make sure that we encourage them to do different types of community service, whatever your interests are. Because here's the thing that you have to understand, that with Kappa League, it's an organization within itself. Yes, we are advisors. Yes, we are there to guide them and things of that nature, but we're pretty much going to let them choose their officers. We're going to let them choose the board members, things of that nature. So it's training for leadership and future generations as well. So we're going to let them, kind of choose, vote, teach them things such as Robert's rules of order, things of that nature, so they know when they get into the real world or, the business world or whatever world it is that they want to delve into, they'll understand the way that order works.
That is really wonderful. Nowadays, mostly with school, they learn how to be students. They learn how to take tests. But school is not, and again, not to throw shade at the school system, because they are, most of them are federally funded. They have to do what they have to do based on those guidelines. But they're not, students are not learning how to be viable, productive individuals. Once they leave school, they know how to take a test, but they don't know how to do some research on starting a business or just some simple life skills. I know this may seem really simple. Yes, there's home economics, but there's still some students who don't take those classes. Some don't know how to boil water. Some don't know how to sew a button. Some don't know how to balance a checking account. Some don't know how to do they don't know how to just do some basic things. And so I'm very pleased that these organizations are coming along to try to instill some of these things into these young people. And then especially young men, we want to see them rise up and be leaders in the communities. See less fatherless homes. You talked about sexual education. Less fatherless homes, reduce the numbers of unplanned pregnancies. I mean, it takes two to make, that it happens. So anyway, I know we can't give away everything. We can't, you have to be a young man to get involved, and we can't tell everything. We can't give away all the secrets.
True.
So if you're listening out there, you know someone who has a child that's in grades 7 through 12, please encourage them to go to this interest meeting on February the 25th, which is this Saturday at 10 a.m. It's going to be at the Delta Center on ASU's campus. White shirt, khaki pants. There's an email. Please give out that email.
It's Jonesboro AR alumni at gmail.com.
Okay, so please send an email to reserve your spot, and then start working on that essay on why you want to become a part of the Kappa League.
And again, it's, if your essay is 2 paragraphs, so be it.
Okay.
We're not worried about, we're not gonna sit here and worry about your academic, whether, this is not great writing, or he's not gonna be an author, or whatever the case. We're not gonna scrutinize you. I promise we're not. It's not.
They just want to know your why.
Exactly.
All right, so we have about 30 seconds. Any final words you'd like to give?
I just encourage everyone that has any type of interest, or anyone that share this information. We're going to have that interest meeting February 25th, which is this Saturday, 10 a.m. At the Delta Center on ASU's campus. Okay. Again, we're there. We create Kappa League to help the community. So it's not about us, it's about them.
That's right. You can find more information on Facebook and Instagram concerning the Kappa League. Thank you for tuning in to Community Conversations. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. You can catch the videos on Facebook on the KLEK 102.5 FM page. Everyone have a very blessed day.